and I'll just start over. All right. So, all right. So, in explaining ClickFunnels and explaining, the basics of ClickFunnels, I've got 3 colors, and they're pretty much going to match up with the colors inside of ClickFunnels. And now that we're recording, I'm going to switch over to this microphone so that our audio is just a little bit better. Bear with me 1 second while I plug this in here. Cool. All right. So does that microphone start picking up?
Yep.
All right, cool. So so green in the ClickFunnels editor are and sorry, I think that I'm gonna have to mute this over here. I've got the impeachment trial going on in the background, so I just muted that. So basically the ground floor of any ClickFunnels funnel is a section. And inside of your page editor, you can have multiple sections per funnel, okay? But the main base, the main holder, the topmost level of ClickFunnels and your funnel is a section. That's always in green, okay? Now, once you have a section, you can't really add anything to the section except a row, okay? So the section is the major canvas that we're working with. And inside that major canvas, we can have rows, okay? Now, your rows are where you set how many columns you want. So for instance, you can have 2 rows in one section, and one of those rows can be, the full width, and the other one can be 2 columns, or let's say 3 columns or 4 columns, or, whatever you want of those columns. Now, the only thing that columns do are they allow us to edit and format on desktop. Columns are not really used on mobile. And 90% of what we do is going to be on mobile, and then we kind of fix it around for desktop. So making rows with separate columns does not make sense for us because we really focus on optimizing for mobile, which really is just 1 column, okay? It's just kind of just 1 column. So for us, what we're going to do is, again, just re-explain that the bottom line of the canvas that we work with is our section, okay? And inside this section, you can have multiple sections per funnel, okay? But inside the section, that's where we have our rows. So our row is going to contain all of the things, okay? Now, everything is called an element in ClickFunnels terms, okay? So the element can be, and I'm using red because I don't have orange, but ClickFunnels uses orange for their elements. But the element is the thing. So here's a headline element, okay? Here is we're gonna add a new row down here, okay? And inside this row, let's say we wanna add our YouTube video. Well, the YouTube video is a separate element, okay? And it's self-explanatory on how to add that element, but that's how we organize ClickFunnels, is you've got your section, the major canvas, your row, which is your organizing process inside of that canvas, and then the actual thing, which the thing is called an element to ClickFunnels, okay? So what we're gonna have you do is you'll share your screen, and let me talk a little bit more about how that works. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna request to drive here, and while you're sharing your screen. So let's say that I wanna add a new section. Remember the green major canvas. So what I'll do is I'll just come over here and hit add section, and then I'll go full width and I'll drag it right over and I'll drop it where I can. Now I've added a new section. So now, in order to use that section, it needs to have a row. So I'm gonna grab my row, I'm gonna put it inside of my section, which is the one that I just added, which is here at the top. So now I've got a section that's holding a row. But in order to make it actually do something, I've got to add the thing, which is the element. All right. So the element we have, when we hit add an element, we have all of these things from credit card forms, headlines, subheadlines, paragraphs, bulleted lists, images, pop-ups, videos, video pop-ups, audio players, all of our forms, like name, buttons, we got countdown timers. We've got all these cool things that we can use, including custom embed for when we start to embed things, okay? Social share buttons, privacy notice, we've got everything, okay? So for me, just to give an example, all I want to do is I just want to add an image. So I'm just going to grab this image element, which is my thing, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop it in. Pop, drop it right in. So now it says demo image. So to change that, I just mouse over the element that I want to change, and I hit the settings button up top. Of course, I could duplicate it, or I could delete it, or I could move it. We'll talk about moving in a second, but for now, we're just going to hit the settings button, and we're going to come over here and we're going to just change the image. All right. So what we'll do to change that image, just hit the upload button, which I'm not going to do, and grab a photo, or we've got a search button right here where we can look at things like arrow, or something simple like that. And let me just grab this Chica with the bow and arrow right here. That's cool. All right, and hit add an image, and now we've got that image in there. Now, if we want to move that image, okay, what we're going to need to do is grab this little move button and start dragging it. Now, see how that orange line appears right there, Yul? Well, what that orange line does is that shows us where we're going to put it. So now the orange line is there. Now it's there, right? We scroll down. Now it's there. Unless the orange line appears, it's not going to go anywhere. So you've got to, when you're dragging it, you've got to get that orange line where it needs to be. Okay. All right. So there's a number in each element and each item. There's a number of settings that we can play with, like top margin, which expands down from the top. We can make this into a link for a new tab, or, and put a link URL. We can adjust the image height. Let's say that we really only wanted that to be 50 pixels. Okay. Or adjust the width. Let's say that we want it to be 1,000 pixels, right? We have, we have those options here. Give me just 1 second. Make sure that they don't want to sell me their car insurance. This is Andy. Yeah, that was not car warranty that time, but so you can see that we have stuff to play with. So then we can go over here to let's just change this back so it looks a little bit better. All right, we'll go to themes. All right. Now, what themes are is a lot of these elements have little things that we can do. Like this one has a bunch of different options that we can have and we can play around with. We can go over to advanced and we can change some settings, alignment or radius, border, shadow. It's got all of these options. So if you want to do something to a certain thing, what you want to do is you want to click on it and then hit the settings button, and it's going to have all sorts of information in there. Okay. So for instance, let's say that for this particular, I'm going to pull this element back in here into that top row. So let's say that I want to change the background of that section. Well, I'll just go in here, and let's say I want a background image. I click on here. I can click background. They've got all sorts of cool backgrounds that I can just use, and hit add image. And now the background of that section is that image, and I can repeat it, or I can or I can just change colors, so you have all of these options available to you. But really what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it quick and easy for you to build this stuff, right? The couple of things that you need to know. Number one, editing elements that are the checkboxes are a big pain, okay? Be very careful when you edit these. If you're here before this A or before this C and you hit the backspace button, you will irreversibly break it, okay? And there's no edit undo, right? I just wiped out that whole section. There's really no edit undo, all right? For us, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the refresh button, because if I don't save my changes, it's gonna start from 0. But what you want to do is you do want to save pretty often, because otherwise, you could get halfway through and have a bug, or the internet freezes or something, and lose your work. Right. Now, again, we it normally sets up on desktop, but what we focus on is editing in mobile, because this is what 90% of our traffic is going to see. All right. So Yul, your homework is going to be, I'm just going to pull it back up again, andythegunguy.com/instructors only. So your homework is going to be to build this high converting student registration template. So you're actually going to start at 1, You're going to skip 2. You're going to go straight to 3, 4, 5, everything down this road. Okay. When you get stuck or when you have something that you cannot do, you just can't figure it out, let's schedule another call or message me on Facebook and ask a quick question, send a screenshot, whatever you've got to do. But let's make this your homework in Active Collab to get started and to get working with. You should be able to finish all of this stuff in maybe an hour worth of nonstop work.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. What are your questions for me, Dad? What are your questions for me?
What's that?
What are your questions for me?
Nothing. I guess I just got to go through that and create that and watch those videos.
Cool.
And then we'll go from there.
All right.
I'm guessing that'll fit into Infusionsoft.
Yep. Once we have your funnel built out and it's ready to go, we connect it to Infusionsoft as follow-up.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool.
Cool, Yul. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to package up this video. I'll edit it down so that it's quicker and easier.
Right.
And then I will send it to you on Active Collab as well.
Cool. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Yul. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Take care, Andy.
All right. See you. Bye.